10X Investments has agreed to purchase CoreShares, creating a full-service South African indexing investment specialist with more than 31 billion rands in assets under management. This will usher 10X into a full-service asset manager for what was essentially a boutique retirement savings business. Joining me now is CEO of 10X Investments, Tobie van Heerde. Mr. van Heerde, thank you very much for joining us. This is a huge move for the company and for shareholders as well. You are creating now an asset manager, moving into the right circles. Talk to us about what this means for the company and the shareholders.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's a great day for 10X. It's a great day for investors and I suppose for shareholders as well. But I think more importantly for investors. Prior to this transaction, we were primarily focused on retirement products. But CoreShares has built a fantastic brand in the intermediary space where 10X hasn't operated previously, and also in discretionary products, along with building ETFs. So our clients can get access to these products now, and similarly, the CoreShares clients and investors can get access to a much more stable and a scalable platform, which we will provide for them going forward.
Tobie, for years you have been catering to individuals actually coming to invest with you. Now you can actually get into a much bigger set of investors with a much bigger pool of 31 billion rands. What's in it for those who were with you in the journey, with 10X in this journey from the beginning, since you are becoming a bigger player?
First of all, we have to thank those investors that's been with us and that's walked this journey, and they're the ones that helped us build this business to where we are. So they're critical to our future. What we can give our current investors is obviously a much broader investment product set, so wider products for them to access to help them build their wealth as individuals. As I said, including ETFs, offshore investments and onshore investments in the discretionary space. In addition to that, we'll give a greater degree of scale. And within the passive management industry, scale is increasingly important to get costs down for investors. So what we will aim to do in the future here is to increase our focus to get efficiencies in our business in order to get these costs down for investors to access quality products at much more reasonable fees.
When it comes to these regulatory approvals that you still have to go through, the deal is not done yet. And of course, you did not mention exactly how much money you have actually spent to actually get into a partnership or merger of this nature with CoreShares. What regulatory approvals do you still have to go through to make sure that this still happens?
It's a pretty standard regulatory approval where we work with the regulator to present the transaction to them in order for them to verify that our shareholders, our corporate shareholders are stable, they're sound, that investor money in the joint entity will be well looked after. So it's a standard regulatory approval that we need to go through. We don't need Competition Commission approval because the deal of the size of this deal. We've had a meeting with the regulator and they're currently busy with the work, and it doesn't look like there's any red flags in terms of not approving the deal. So we're quite confident that the regulator will approve the deal.
Let's talk about the fact that you have filled the shoes, the big shoes of Stephen Nathan. You've been there now as CEO for a couple of months and already getting into a bigger deal. And many people are wondering about your investment philosophy and exactly which investments you would like to turn to as a 10X. What can investors expect?
So at the core of our philosophy, we will remain a passive or index house, providing low-cost index tracking solutions to our investors. And that is going to be at the core, and that won't change. What we would aim to bring in over the next couple of months and years is a much more larger focus on sustainable investment, impact investment, ESG as a core philosophy that runs through our investment processes. So these are the things that you can expect us to bring in. What are the things we won't do? And that I can clearly articulate. We won't be running fads for our investors. Otherwise, we are about long-term savings and not about short-term trends and fads. So you won't see us launching funds for a year or two and then it goes boom and bust.
Tobie, there's a lot of debate around the asset management space in South Africa. In fact, many people are wondering why it's not transformed as it should be, as we still have less than 10% of asset management firms being black when it comes to their management. What role as 10X are you going to play in actually helping this sector move towards transformation?
That's a fantastic question, and unfortunately, one I'm under confidentiality at the moment. And if you speak to me in a couple of weeks, we're going to announce something really big to market around transformation, around creating a proper black manager, around skills development and transfer of skills, specifically within building in a passive space where it's really hard for black managers to come in because scale is so important. So if you bear with me, maybe I can get back on your program in a couple of months' time and we can talk about that again. I think you'll be excited what we want to announce then.
I will certainly hold you to that. Tobie van Heerde, the CEO of 10X Investments, talking to us there about their major deal to actually create a 31 billion rand asset management firm from a normal firm that we know when it takes individual investments in the country for many years.